this is working. If it is and you make it here, say hi in the comments, please. I am just getting going, and they have made quite a few changes to YouTube since I was last live. So we shall see how this works out. I am very excited to be here. I have some fun updates, and I'll give them to you guys as we go, kind of. But I'm going to let the notifications go out and make sure that everyone is here. In the meantime, I'm going to try to... What is happening? Why is this being weird? Okay, there we go. I think it's working now. I was trying to pick up my cell service. Howdy, howdy. Hello, hello. It is not updating like in real time on my end, so just kind of bear with me here, guys. It's going to probably slow roll some of the comments. I just want to say hi to everybody today. Check in with everybody, see how everybody's weekend is going. I haven't done a live in a minute, and we'll see what happens today. I'm not going to be on here for a super long time, but I did want to check in just because life has been wild as of late. Hi, BJ. So we'll see how it's going. Southern Illinois, how is the weather there? I think that's $1 million question everywhere that everyone is going. How is the weather? Is it hot? Is it sticky? Is it gross? Because it has been a little bit of all of that on my travels thus far. We found some really delightful weather, and then I kind of moved away from it, and then I moved back into it, then I moved away from it, then I moved back into it. So it has been kind of hit or miss on that. Definitely been interesting though. I'm hoping that our little chat today, we can have a good old time. Temple, Oklahoma. Oh my goodness. Okie, not from Muskogee. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on in my life. I've just kind of been traveling, moving along, doing a bunch of stuff, trying to get some cool things for you guys. I've been asked 1,000,005 questions, so I've been trying to answer some of those. Just keep myself super busy. St. Louis, Missouri. Nice. Let me see. I think I have something on my sunglasses. I'll have to fix that in a minute. Wow, my eyes are just real small today. I woke up this morning with a horrible migraine, and I'm doing okay now. Fear not, fear not. Oklahoma City, we got some Okies in the house today. That's good. So yeah, I just thought that I'd hang out for a little bit and just kind of chit chat, see what's going on in everybody's lives. Kind of talk about life here on the road, things that I have experienced that have been positive and negative that you guys will see soon. It's been interesting, let me tell you. There have been so many amazing positives. Like, we've been hiking so much, we have done so many things. At the same time, there are some hiccups along the way that we've encountered that have been quite stressful, I will say. I have had a few strange van things happen, and it's okay. I'm alive. I'm okay. All is good. But in that moment, you're just like, oh no, you know? Hi, Bunny from Maryland. Awesome. So, funny story, I have been to Maryland a few times. I have been to Maryland once in my car when I tent camped, and then also once whenever I've been up there twice otherwise. I went to go visit a friend who lives in Baltimore, and then I went another time up there to just like with some work stuff that I was doing. It was pretty cool. I actually at one point in time went up that way and stayed in Baltimore and interviewed with the Ravens, and then I went over to Philly and interviewed with the 76ers. It was really a cool trip. It was a super cool trip, but at the same time, ultimately, the living cost was not worth the salary offered. Let's see what we got going on here. New Mexico says hi. Dodging the heat in upstate South Carolina. Nice. How is it there? Is it going well? Are you guys getting any of the weird after effects from the tropical storm / hurricane? I don't know what they ended up classifying it as. I just know they were saying that it was not going to hit land, but it was going to bring in some extras. North Carolina. We got a bunch of different places represented today. Very cool. Very cool. Sometimes it's interesting just to see where all you guys are from. Like, I was looking at, on YouTube, there's this whole section that gives you like where people watch from. And one day I was checking it out, and I was in a single month. And this is the wildest thought ever, because like when you put out a YouTube video, especially like about something very specific,
you think of, okay, well, there's going to be people who are interested in maybe going there, or maybe if it's a van life thing, somebody's interested in van life, but you don't think about how big of a reach that has. The last time that I checked, I was consumed in like 56 countries. That is wild. It's something like that. And it's different every month. So, like, it could have just been that month. It was 56. I've had more than that some months and less than that some months, but 56 countries. And then you can also see, like, how you're translated. And I've been translated into like 30 or 40 different languages, which I would love to see. I just think it'd be super funny because I talk fast and use my hands a lot. So I can only imagine if you like translate that into another language, especially if it like auto captions over or like voiceovers. That would be super funny because then it would be like watching one of those kung fu films, you know. So I'm fascinated by that, but also just to see like the outreach of like how people consume information and how interested people are. There's certain things that some places people are much more interested in, and so like I've learned that like my strange graves or my cemetery videos, there's a very specific audience of people who love those, and a lot of them are from like England, which is so cool because like I would love to go to England to go check out some of the cemeteries there because wow. I've watched so many content creators from there that go and do all these really interesting things, and it just looks fascinating because you know they have graves that are older than our country. So yeah. Let's see what else we have here. Ohio and Georgia in the house. What? Very hot and humid there. Yeah, I've definitely come through a little bit of that as well. I left out of Texas. It was pretty weird because it just kept raining. It was decent. Like we still had grass when I left, which is wild because normally it's like crunchy by the time I leave. But by the time that I got into Colorado, that I hit all the weird weather there. Very fascinating. Also hit some more weird weather. And then I've just kind of been going in between like weird weather, good weather, hot weather, cold weather. And it's just strange to see how much just a certain amount of miles can change all of that. So pretty fascinating stuff. I'm hoping that we can get some reprieve nationwide though, because fall is approaching, and as fall approaches, you know, everybody deserves a break because there's certain places I've been talking to people that I know that are just like boiling, that are never that hot. So yeah. From NorCal, how is NorCal? I do enjoy NorCal quite a bit. It's always kind of fun for me. I love, especially coastal NorCal. So happy. Let's see. I was going to catch you guys up on a few things that are going on since we're doing the live, because I usually give you guys like, so between my Patreon and my members, I give some of the behind the scenes in more real time. Not necessarily completely real time, but more real time. But then on my lives, I try to give you guys some fun stuff too. So we'll talk about that. I'm going to see if I can get my cord. Actually, I may not need my cord. I don't know if this is going to throw me off if I unplug. If you guys can't hear me, let me know, okay? Try to move the camera.
Hear me? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, say yes, please, so I can know that I'm not just talking crazy. I would prefer to have it not plugged in because I can set you here and then I can talk with my hands and I can pick things up. Okay, cool, you can hear me. Awesome. Sometimes whenever I do a live in the van takes over and it's like, hey, I own this now, and so if I'm not plugged in, then it doesn't work. I did like a live a couple years ago where all of a sudden my van wouldn't relinquish the microphone. Even after I turned off the van, I was just silent. Yeah. Okay, so I had to get a new phone case. Let's talk about that one first. Part of the reason why I don't like to be plugged in is because of this new phone case. This phone case is horrible. I hate this thing. It does the trick of saving the phone from getting murdered, basically. And I don't take that lightly. Like, I am really rough on electronics because I travel the way that I do, but also because I film the way that I do. So one of the things that I noticed was I had my phone up on my tripod, this little tripod guy right here. Love this thing, by the way. This is the Craft Gear tripod. This is the one that I've been using. Love this thing. So this is awesome, and I can move it around and get it to the angle that I need it to be so it sits, no matter if I'm on like an incline or not. moral of the story, I had it set up when I was filming something, and then all of a sudden, this massive gust of wind just went, which normally wouldn't be that big of a deal, because normally it's pretty solid because of the base here. So the base, the way that it pops out, this is really weird because I'm doing this in my front seat, but the base, the way that it pops out, it gives it a nice wide foot on it, so it normally does pretty good. The wind was not playing at all. It was not normal wind. It was just like really super aggressive. So it took this and it launched it, and it yeeted my phone off. And I had my protective case on it, but it shattered the entire protective case. I couldn't hardly see the phone when it did that. So like I'm just like reading through cracks. And then it started to do that flaking thing that gets in your fingers. I was like, I can't do this because So I looked it up on Amazon because I got that phone case on Amazon, but where I was located at the time, it would have taken almost 2 weeks to get it with Amazon. I don't know why. It just would have. And so I really contemplated driving to another place just so I could get an Amazon order sooner. But they had a Walmart nearby, so I was like, let me just go and give it a benefit of the doubt to try. That was a mistake. Ultimately, I ended up with a phone case that if I wasn't doing what I am doing, it would be perfectly fine. But for what I'm doing, it is not good at all. The screen protector is just different. The case itself, at some point, whenever I change out the case again, I'll show you guys why. I'll talk about it in a video so you can understand a little bit better by seeing it through illustration. But long story short, the way the case fits, it's right on top of my microphone and it does weird stuff. So on top of the update that Apple did that makes your microphone more sensitive, and then also the new case, it's just like, so I've been very displeased. I've already ordered another one. It will be arriving on Thursday. So I just have to make it 4 more days. I have been roughing it out for a minute with this thing though, and I am not pleased. Not pleased at all. So that's a long story short of why the microphone sounds weird. But yeah, so if you guys are ever out and about and you're trying to do van life content and videos, not all phone cases are great for that. And now I am living proof. So so sorry guys if it sounds weird at any point up until Thursday. Let's see. We have a couple comments that came in. Oh my goodness, your dad lives in the Mojave? That has to be so hot right now. Question. When you do extended trips, how much water do I take? I know 1 gallon a day. Okay, so with me, I have my 3 big jugs, and my 3 big jugs are about, I want to say they're altogether, they're like 1.5 gallons each, pretty much. I think that's what their actual amount is. But I have 3 of them, and I fill them up, and then anytime that I get an opportunity to, I just try to top them off. I try to find water fill stations. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. On this particular trip, a lot of the water fill stations I've been going to, I haven't loved, and or they haven't been working correctly, so I've had to get bottles of water. I always try to reduce the footprint in the van by pouring them into these, though. I would definitely say it depends on how long you're going to be gone and what all you're going to be doing. Now, if I'm going to pop out my pop-out shower, I'm going to use a lot of water in comparison to what I would if I'm drinking. That's why a lot of times I try not to use my pop-out shower because I don't want to carry a larger amount of water and I don't want to have to refuel all the time the water situation. So I have other ways that I can clean myself up. But if you are going to be using a pop-out shower daily or every other day, you're going to have to use more water. Now, drinking-wise, you should be drinking anywhere between like 2 of these guys a day and a gallon of water, depending on what kind of activities you're doing. If you're doing really strenuous activities, you need to make sure you're putting electrolytes into some of that water because you're not just like diminishing your body of the water, you're diminishing your body of the electrolytes, the salts, the things like that. So it's a kind of hard question. It's also going to be dependent on if it's warm or if it's cold. If it's warmer, you need more water because you're going to need to make sure you're good. I also would recommend keeping enough water just in case you have to put some water in your van at any point. So at least I would say for me, I carry anywhere between 4 and 5 gallons of water normally. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's a little bit less, but at least that. So I hope that's helpful. I know that that's not an exact answer, but realistically, depends on how frequently you're going to be near like civilization also. And if you are dependent on just getting to civilization to have water. Worst case scenario, have a filter. So if you do need to filter water, if you're like in a pinch, you can do that. You can filter it out of a stream or something like that. They have some good ones that are just like handhelds. They have like the straw one, which I don't love, or they have bottles that you can actually do that directly in. So those are also options. Autumn is your favorite time of year. I do love a good autumn moment. I love leaves. I love seeing the beauty around. I like the pumpkin spices for a little bit, not for the whole time. I'm usually that girl who I started noticing that they're already starting to put out the pumpkin spice menu, and I'm like, oh, but it feels too early. You know, as much as I like a good pumpkin something, I'm not going to be like pumpkin everything. My memories of pumpkin take me back to whenever I was a kiddo, and so one of my favorite kiddo moments, my granddad and I used to go to Brahms with my grandma sometimes, and when we'd go to Brahms, they had pumpkin ice cream, and I remember that, and it was so good, and so it was always like this like happy memory for me. So anytime that pumpkin season comes around again, I think of that. So it's not so much that I want to be like a granola girl, pumpkin girly. It's more so that it brings me childhood memories. It reminds me of my grandparents, which both of them aren't around anymore. So that's really fun stuff. So I think you should take advantage of those. But yes, autumn is fabulous because the weather starts to feel oh so nice and the leaves are gorgeous. Let's see, we got, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We got some more people in here. Culver's pumpkin shake. I've never had one of their pumpkin shakes before. I have had, okay, so Brahms used to do just the pumpkin. Now they do a pumpkin cheesecake also. That is so good. Can I use my back doors? Okay, so I can use my back doors, but I can't use my back doors. Does that make sense? I've never gotten them replaced. I'm pretty sure that at this point, insurance is probably not going to take care of it. I love that there were so many struggle buses along the way. I just don't talk about it because it is frustrating, but at the same time, I can open the doors. I don't open the doors much, and that's just because over time it will wear and tear on it. So I'm very mindful when I do open the doors. I don't like to do it if I'm in a remote space where I'm not around other people, just in case it gets stuck. Every so often I have to open it though. For example, I had this lovely tire incident the other day and I had to open the doors. So I built my bed and everything where I don't open the doors because of function anymore. I have things in there where I can store them, like a garage, so to speak. But those are things I'm not trying to get to very often, or I can get to over the back of the bed. Otherwise, I'm just not, unless it's something that I absolutely have to have. So I can open them. I don't like to open them. It makes me nervous to open them, and I have to slam the door to get it to close correctly. Otherwise, the light would come on. So it just is what it is. I'm almost to a place where I'm just like, okay, we'll just go find some used doors and slap them on there. I don't care at this point. Insurance, though, made it very difficult because they continued to say it had to be new doors. And they discontinued the Envy and turned in the Chevy Express. So they found the loophole to make my life not fun. I'm going to contact my shop once I get back to Texas just to see if we've had any progress. If we have not, I understand. I understand. The frustration is real for everyone. So it is what it is. Let's see what we got here. Oh, dude, it jumped around a lot. Oh, that's so cool. You're going to take a fall trip with the horses. I'm a little jealous of that because I haven't got to go out there yet. So you will have to just like soak that in for me. Definitely. What's my newest patch? My newest patch, let's see. You guys haven't seen this yet, but I ended up going to Silverton. So this is one of my newest patches. Yeah. Silverton is super cool. I cannot wait to share that with you guys. As you know, I post on kind of a delay. So that will be a little bit, it's coming very soon, but we're not there yet. But yeah, I got that one. I really liked it because it looked like the road sign. I also picked up this guy whenever we went to Creed. Last time that I was in Creed, they weren't, I wasn't doing patches. I had just started out collecting patches like right after that. So I did not get the patch. And I was planning on going back through there last year to get the patch with Riley because we were going to go earlier in the year. And that's whenever she couldn't come out until later. And then I was like, okay, cool. And then whenever she was going to come out later, she ended up getting COVID. So it just didn't work out. So I finally got my patch for Creed, even though I've been there like 5 times, probably 4 or 5 times, maybe. I've been going since, let's see, I got the van in 2020. I've been there once in the tent before that. So my first trip to Creed was probably like 2018. And again, I was collecting stickers, so I have some stickers and stuff, but I never got a patch. So that was cool. And then Silverton, I really wanted to get a patch because it was super fun. I also got this guy because I've been encountering so many awesome chipmunks, and all of the chipmunks have just been so cool. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. You did not have to do that. Thank you. I do appreciate it. I will put that toward an adventure that I'm going to be doing tomorrow because I already have something planned. So I'll just put that toward it. I appreciate that. The chipmunks, though, I've been interacting with the chipmunks a lot. I never feed the animals. I think it's really terrible. We have gone to a lot of places where clearly animals have been fed, and because of that, it creates a lot of problems. Riley just stayed at a place over by Tahoe, and it was not. Oh wait, no, was it Tahoe? No, June Lakes area, that area, Mammoth Lake, June Lake area. All of the chippies were like, and you could see that they were just used to being fed. They'd come right up, they'd try to get in your van, and that's why it's a problem. But at nighttime, it would also trigger a lot more of the predators to come through, and that's not good. So, yeah. And then when we were at our campsites that you guys have been seeing us stay at, there are so many chipmunks. I stayed there 1,000,005 times. There's always been chipmunks, but these are brave chipmunks now. And I know I'm Snow White, and I know they come up and want to hang out and stuff. I had one crawl on me, which was super cool. I was just standing there, and he crawled up my leg, and he was like, hi. And I was like, oh, okay. You guys will see that really soon, I think. I don't think you've already seen that. But yeah, it was really, really fun, but also, yeah, don't feed the animals. So, ugh. But because I had that really cool interaction, I went ahead and got a patch for it because that was the coolest thing. I loved it so much. Let's see, what else we got? We got a hi and a whoop whoop. Absolutely. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Told you guys about the weird cell phone issue. That was lovely. Um, learned some lessons with that one. I will only ever get this one kind of case. I've showed you guys the kind of case that I normally have on my phone, the mirror case, and how much I like it. I bragged about it because I liked it so much, but again, the Amazon thing, the disconnect in rural areas is a lot. There's a big swing. I'm used to being in Texas. We're in a rural area. I'm still kind of close to an Amazon distribution center, so I can have stuff within like 2 or 3 days tops. Some of these areas, literally 2 weeks. And so I was like, nope, can't do that. But there's a reason why I bragged on that case. It doesn't make my stuff weird. And unfortunately, right now we're living in this limbo of weird with this phone case. So I will be very happy when the new one arrives. Brushed over the tire issue. Yeah, I had a fun tire situation. Let me just kind of give a word to the wise. If you're watching this live right now, just know if you're on the road, make sure you have a full-size spare, always. It's literally the only thing that has saved me. Yeah, definitely a full-size spare. Other than that, I have been enjoying time with friends, which has been super awesome. I've spent a lot of time by myself, which is super cool. And it has just been really, really, really great. And I've enjoyed it. I come to Colorado every year pretty much just to get away from the heat. And normally I kind of use it as a hub to go other places. And so I've kind of been doing that. I found some new campsites, and I kind of put myself in some weird positions when it came to my timing on some stuff. That was fun. That was super fun. Um, Creed seems to be a popular place to visit. I've seen lots of people talking about that there's all sorts of YouTubers there. I know there's this one guy, he is an overlander, who he was there around the same time we were, and I actually saw his rig, and I thought, like, oh, that's a cool rig, only to then have somebody send me his link and be like, oh, do you know this guy? I was like, no. I don't know anyone who's physically there right now, personally, but, like, if I did, I would have probably linked up with him, but I don't know anybody, so, like, it is what it is. But like, I knew that Riley and I talked about going there for so long that she wanted to go, so we went. And then I was fortunate enough that Kali and Mateo were there with us too, so that was super cool. Of course, if you guys are not already, you need to go follow all their channels. Casey Life Adventures, Riley Does Life, and my name's Teo. Teo's already put out his video of when we were in Creed, and it was super, super cool. And then it wasn't. We had a weird scenario. You guys will see it on my channel, but if you're interested in getting a sneak peek, go watch his. We kind of filmed some different things while we were there at the same time. So it's interesting because, like, when you travel with all of your YouTube friends and stuff like that, everybody's filming different things, how they see life. But some of the things are like crossover. We were just talking about this. I was just like, that's the cool thing is we all have like a different perspective. We all take away different things. We all find unique stuff. And so as we do that, like people get an opportunity through various channels that they might not follow all of them to see like this experience. And I hope it encourages everybody to go there because like all the different places that we go are so cool. Although we did have that weird experience. Not happy. I stayed at a place that I'd stayed at before, and then we ventured up the road just a little bit, and then we had a stranger danger. We'll just say that. And then that should come out in a few days. You'll see it, so you'll get to see what I'm talking about. Let's see. Oh, I'm so happy to always put up photos on Patreon. I need to do a Patreon photo dump. I've been trying to work on that, but my service has kind of been like good and bad. Currently, I'm sitting in a parking lot, so potentially I should do it while I'm at a parking lot. I have good service here. There's been days where it's been so bad that I brought my WeBoost with me this time because I was like, I know I'm going to be in some super remote areas and I've been like using that, and it's okay. In a lot of areas, I can do things, but like uploads are hard. A lot of my videos are huge, for example, so that's part of the reason why I post kind of on a delay, other than safety, is because my files are so big, and so if I want to stay in a really cool place for like a week, I may not be able to upload for like a week if my stuff doesn't upload. So I always try to stay ahead of myself a little bit so that not only can people not know where I am in real time, because again, safety is so important to me, but also so that if I am posting and stuff like that, I don't have a delay because that can like throw everybody off, kind of like, oh, I thought you, like I had one time where I couldn't upload for like a few days and people were like, I thought something was wrong. So I don't want people to worry about me. So yeah, I just try to stay ahead enough where that can be the case so I can be safe and then people can know I'm good and all of that. Um, am I ready for a mini golf game? I'm always ready for a mini golf game. I'm always ready for a mini golf game. But yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on. Let's see. We talked about the weird stuff. We talked about the good stuff. We talked about my patches. I'm trying to think. There's been some other strange things. I have a really big announcement that I cannot make here because I have already put together something for you guys. It's really fun, and that should come out probably next week. But it's a really big announcement, and so I'm so excited. Of course, recently I put up the thing about the Annie thing. A lot of people reached out to me after that via email, and I'm appreciative to each and every one of you. They wanted to know, oh my gosh, how did this happen? And so I don't think I'm gonna do like a video. I might talk about it a little bit, but like for the most part, three and a half years ago, Annie reached out to me, not as Annie. They reached out to me as like a private entity, like an individual person with an idea. And the idea was simply to, hey, we liked this thing you did. Would you mind sharing it as a potential thing that we're getting picked up? And I was like, okay, is this real? I don't mind. Like, cool. I had them send me over a contract. The contract very clearly stated that I owned the footage, that my footage would never be something somebody else could only profit from or copyright me on. And so all that sounded good. So I was like, okay, cool. Here you go. Sent it off to them, had a whole day because there was a lot of footage. Sent it off to them, had no idea what's going to come of it. And then after that, I didn't hear anything for a really long time until about a year later. And they were like, oh, yeah, we're shopping it out right now. And I was like, cool. And had no idea what exactly that meant or anything. I thought they were just going to use it as primarily like B-roll. So the difference between like A-roll and B-roll, those are the two names. Most people just say B-roll, they don't say A-roll, but talking head, like me talking to you guys, is considered to be A-roll or hero footage, right? B-roll is all of the other stuff. So if I'm talking and you're seeing this little guy right here as like a close-up, that's B-roll. So I thought they were just going to use it as B-roll, and then they were going to have whoever it was that was narrating whatever was going on, that was going to be what it was. And so I was like, okay, cool. Never heard from him again for a really long time, and then I got an email saying A&E had picked up the show, and this is what the name of the show is going to be. Cool? Again, a lot of time passed. This has been a long time coming situation, and Then, like a week before it actually released onto A&E or onto the affiliated networks, I got something saying your episode is called this, it's coming out on this day, and we're really excited that it's going to be live. What? Okay, it actually happened. So I waited until the date, and then I went onto Prime and I downloaded the episode, and I was shocked, guys. They didn't just use B-roll. I am physically on there, and I'm just, what? Like, I never expected that. I expected it to be something like, as me just being a contributor. I was a contributor, but I am a. It's just different, and I'm just never expected that. But I'm happy that it finally came to like be, because now that it's there, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this thing that I put in for to do 1,005 years ago finally happened. I never thought that that was going to happen. So for all of you guys who have been kind of following along on that story or who have watched the episode, it's so exciting because wow, never expected that. But it kind of was like a really cool moment. So yay! But I did kind of tell you guys a little bit about that. Behind the scenes, I've just kind of been like, oh my gosh, okay, this is actually going to happen now. Um, you never know. I've contributed to a lot of different projects along the way, and in doing so, sometimes you see them and sometimes you don't. And that's just kind of how it works in the industry. So who knows? I'm being challenged to mini golf. I'm game. I'll do it. Let's do this. I'm assuming that's my dad. That's my dad. But yeah, should be pretty interesting. Yeah, so, oh, hang on, something just did something weird. Okay. So the way that the contracts work is anytime that you are a person who is a freelancer who is contributing to something, they send out a use contract, and it's a bullet point thing that tells you how they're going to use it, what their intentions are, what you're going to get paid, if you're having to release the footage or if you get to keep rights to the footage, and it kind of just goes through all of this, and then you get to like sign your life away or you get to keep your life depending on what it says. So with this, it was definitely something that they were getting from a lot of different contributors from different walks of life who had done different things, and it was a restaurant review in a really cool place in Colorado Springs. And so it was really, really interesting to see how that they wanted to use it, but also that they just found it in general. Because, you know, whenever you put in for something and you have somebody who acknowledges that, like, something you did is cool, it's always like, oh, how did you even find that? I've also contributed some drone footage to a few projects before. A few of them have used the drone footage, a few of them haven't. Most of them are independent. So it's just kind of one of those things. Little people like myself normally don't get those opportunities, but at the same time, each time you get an opportunity, you can add that to who you are as a person so that somebody else can see that, so possibly can put it out there for more stuff. And eventually, the bigger goal with what we do here is to get people to go to places and see stuff. So I really do hope that through that, that more people will go to that place because it was super, super cool. Oh, you have a good night, Susan. So yeah, so that's been what I've been doing. I've been trying to work on my craft, do my stuff, keep myself super organized, and I've been trying to make sure that I stay on top of all of the things that I'm working on kind of behind the scenes, because I do a lot of stuff that you guys don't yet see. I work on projects for a very long time so that I can share them with you sometimes. I do my daily vlogs and my day in the life and my educational content, my van life stuff, my travel stuff. That's all one entity, but I do all of this other stuff over here that is not part of the channel. I've been working on a few additional kind of projects like that. And so I'm hoping that I can get ahead enough where I can start working on those a lot more so I can get them to you guys sooner, because I think you'll like them. It's just that it's kind of, you know, you have to focus your attention on one thing at a time. And sometimes I wish I was an octopus. I wish I had 8 hands so I could do all the things all at once. And if I did, that would be super cool. This summer, I knew that my goal was going to be to hang out with my friends, shoot content, enjoy myself, make sure that we worked on our like different things. Each trip that we set out on as a collective, we make a goal, and our goal always has something to do with like how we would like to improve something. It could be anything. I was kind of looking through, And on Instagram, if you're not following me on Instagram, the name is the same, BunnyPlaysHere. I was looking through and trying to post a few things on Instagram the other day, and I ran into this like folder of my P&W stuff from when Riley and I went to the P&W, and I noticed that the thing that we were working on when we were in the P&W was we wanted to improve our ability to take really cute photos, not necessarily just like, oh, hi, look at me, but like beautiful photos of the beautiful landscape. And so I have this whole folder of just photos that were just basically practice photos, most of which never made it to the light of day for people to see. But at the same time, that was our goal. But our goal ultimately was to get better at doing those things so that then we can get better at other things that relate to those things. And so looking back, it's fun to see like where you started out at a trip and where you ended up at a trip, what kind of shots that you learned from that, what kind of things that you learned did not work, what kind of things that you really enjoyed and which ones were too hard, which ones could be done solo or which ones could only be done with a person with you. And so as we get better at those kind of things, it makes it where it's a more enjoyable experience for us because we can create something that's really pretty. I like creating pretty content. I like to create things that make me happy, but also my goal is always whenever I do stuff is to like bring you guys along. And so often it's really, really hard for someone to go to some of the places that we go to. And because of that, I know that the experience is some people won't be interested in those things because like I just can't go. But my goal is to share with those things so that people can say, okay, even though I can't go there, I would like to see what it looks like and show them in a way that they feel like they have been there. And so that's why I kind of do things the way that I do. And sometimes I know that you guys are probably like, okay, sure. But at the same time, you go with me on the journey. And at the end of the day, you're like, oh, that was really cool, actually. I learned something. And that's kind of how I am too. I go to a lot of places that might have strange stories. I go to places that might not be necessarily the biggest thing, but I want people to feel included in those journeys like they could go. And I think that that's the best part. Let's see. So yeah, that's kind of my brain and how it works and how I continuously try to improve. So that was one of the things that I made it a point whenever we were traveling together. This trip, I wanted us to really focus on um, really working together collectively because I think that if we're collectively working together on something, you have instead of one idea, you have four ideas. And so through those four ideas, you get to see how somebody else sees the world, which allows you to see how, like, for example, if I see the world this way, and I love how I see the world, but somebody over here is like, but I see it this way. I might not have seen the thing that they see. And so I want to learn from that so I can then show that, and so somebody else can see it. So we can all collectively get better together. Go on the daily journeys? Absolutely. The daily journeys are something that I have really enjoyed. I started out my channel and I didn't have an upload schedule a long, long time ago. And then I started adding to it where I was like, okay, let's get some consistency so we're uploading on the same days. And then the more that I traveled, the more I realized that there weren't enough days to explain all the beauty of all the things that are out there and then also answer the questions that people ask. So I was like, okay, this is going to be a commitment step to do a video every day, but I think I can do this. And I like a good challenge. Challenges are fun to me. So anytime I set myself a goal of a challenge, I always will try to rise to that challenge as much as I can or get as close to it as I possibly can. So I went to 5 days a week, and then 5 days a week I was still stressing to be like, okay, but there's these things I just don't have the time to show the things in the depth of the people feeling like they've been there. A good museum, I don't want to like lessen it to like a 10-minute video and be like, do. If it took me 4 hours to go through the museum to learn all the things, I don't want it to be a 4 hour video, but I also don't want it to be 10 minutes where you miss the whole museum. So I was like, okay, I'm going to commit to if I do museums, I just know they're going to be longer videos. I'm okay with that. And if somebody is not okay with that, they won't watch it. It's not their video. It's fine. I think as a creator, the biggest thing is being able to acknowledge that not everything is going to be for everybody, and that's okay. I know for a fact that there are certain kinds of videos that some people are just like, nope, I'm out. And that's okay because the very next day there's another video that they might be interested in. But at the same time, the people who want that kind of content or craving that kind of content might not be able to find that kind of content anywhere else. And so if I can provide that service to them, and that's the only thing they watch on my channel, I'm also okay with that. Which means that I'm okay with some videos having a lot of views and some videos having very few views. I never judge what I do as a person based off of view count. I think that that's absolutely ridiculous. I learned a long time ago from a creator that told me outright, if you base your value off of how many people watch your channel, you will always feel like you can't possibly compete with like a million plus channel, because a million plus channel is going to have more views, which is true. Furthermore, she told me you shouldn't try to compete with a million plus channel or a channel that has one subscriber, because each person is doing something different. And the biggest thing is being authentic to you. And so I heard that and I internalized that, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to completely and totally like pull yourself back and realize, okay, what I'm doing is okay. That person just doesn't like that thing, and that's okay. You know, you tend to weight that on your shoulders and be like, ugh, it's because they don't like me. And at this point, I don't care. No offense to everyone in the chat or anyone who watches my channel, but I don't care if people like me. I'm going to be me no matter what. At the end of the day, I have to lay my head down being myself. So I don't really worry about if people like me or don't like me as much as I do is the content for people, and am I doing people a service by sharing these things with them? And I hope people enjoy me as well. But at the same time, if somebody sits there and reads me 10 Ways from Sunday and tells me that they don't like me for something I can't control, I'm okay with that. Let's see. I'm just trying to catch up real quick. Everything moved on me. What? Hello, hello. It's okay that you're late. You got here, and that's what matters. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy when people say that they've gained so many brain wrinkles. That is ultimately my biggest goal, is we all get smarter together, guys. We all get to learn things. We get to learn about the world around us. And then we get to have better opinions about things because ultimately we understand them more. Awesome. I do enjoy like giving a tour. I think the tour part, hang on, let me fix my phone real quick. There we go. I think the tour part is something that it allows people who aren't present to physically see the space through the images that we share, but also give context. I followed, whenever I first started out, a lot of different kinds of channels, and none of them were really van life channels, honestly. Most of them were related to getting out there and experiencing life, because that's what I want to do, is experience life myself. And so because of that, I'm always trying to like think of people in the way of, it doesn't matter if you travel the same way that I do, you can still experience things. And I think that more people out there should experience life, even if they have no desire to live in a vehicle. Vehicle life is not for everybody, and completely valid, completely valid. It's hard sometimes. But also, there are people who can take a day off, they can walk around a park, they can go to a museum. Oh my gosh, there's a fly. They can do all of those things. And so I don't want people to feel like you can only hang out with me if you have a van, because that's silly. That's super silly. Most of my friends back home do not travel the way that I travel. It doesn't mean that I like them any less. I want them to get out and live life just the same, even if they can't travel. Now, do I try to push them in the direction of, oh, you could do part-time, you could just camp in your SUV like once or twice? Yeah, sure, sure. But at the same time, I understand not everybody's journey is going to be like that, so it's okay. Let's see. Oh my gosh, oh no, it's Riley. Yes, this is why I'm not answering your text. I even sent you a message saying I'm about to go live. Guys, this is what I have to deal with. Riley does not pay attention to what I say to her. She ignores my text messages, and then she plays catch up. Mind you, we voice text, so all she had to do was look at the actual written text. But no, no, no. She comes in offended. Let's see. I don't do a lot of lives, so that's part of it. Is it's real hard to catch me on a live because I just don't do many of them. So, woohoo! You made it. um, exactly. Be true to yourself. That's what I tell literally every person. I get asked hundreds of times a week by people who have watched the channel or come to the channel or want to do YouTube, and they're seeking out people who are doing things in the space that they'd like to be. That's what I tell everybody. There can be 1,001 people who are doing exactly the same thing, because realistically, so much of van content is just wash, rinse, repeat. This person says it, this person says it, this person says it. The main thing is, if you're doing the same things over and over and over because this is your life, you're living your regular life, then there is going to be overlap, because all van lifers have to do certain things, right? We all have to drive to places, we all have to camp places, we all have to be able to wash our bodies, we have to take care of our restroom time, we have to sleep. Those are all common topics that everybody talks about, but the difference is who the people are. And I think that that's where a lot of people forget that, like, if you're going to be out and about, people got to be like able to differentiate you from Joe Blow down the street. And if you're doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, for example, I'll use this as an example, and I mean no disrespect to any person, but I have seen so many tours that are literally the same tour over and over and over and over. And it doesn't have the personal touches. Like, if you're going to do tours, like, make them yours. Make them have your moment, your standout thing. Show a person and give them the personality. Don't just show their van. And at some point, especially within the tour space, it just becomes overwhelming, because everybody's like either filming the same vans, or they're giving the exact same tour, or they're hitting the bullet points because someone else hit the bullet points, and it just becomes like monotonous. So instead, like, interjecting who they are would have made a big difference, or who the person they're talking about. That would have made a huge difference. And I think that a lot of people fall into the trap of specifically tours just because a lot of numbers get generated from them. But at the same time, if you don't want to do tours your entire existence and you want people to watch you for you, they have to know you too. Otherwise, they're only going to be interested in that one thing that you do. And it's not just that. It's in every industry. There's tons of things like that. If you're a gadget review person and you're reviewing, I don't have any good gadgets right now, but we'll say that this is a gadget and you're reviewing this. If this is all you do, every single video is review this gadget or a gadget that's like this, and then all of a sudden you're like, by the way, let's go to a theme park. People are going to be super confused because you didn't give them a through way of understanding that, hi, I like to review things, but I'm also a regular person who likes to do things. So a lot of times people will niche themselves down so much and then be really upset when they want to do the thing that they really want to do. So I always tell people it's slower to grow that way, of just being your authentic self. It just is. Unless you hit lightning in a bottle, it is going to be slower. But at the same time, it's going to be more meaningful, because the people who latch onto you are going to latch onto you because they enjoy what it is you do independently. And I think that that's the thing. Also, a lot of times people will have a specific thing that they do, and they'll just start interjecting something that they've never done before. And it seems very much like a copycat situation. And when they do that, it's like, okay. And then they'll get a bunch of comments saying, oh, you do this, you would get along with this person. But at the same time, that's not what they want. They want to be getting that done because they would like to be able to do that thing. Or it's something that they've seen has hit the algorithm, so they're interested in it for the clicks. So again, if you want to do something, do it the entire time, even if it's not super popular, you know? That's just the best advice that you can get if you want to be authentic. Oh, Riley's getting questions. Riley's getting questions. I'm reading through a little bit. Oh my goodness, the hair wash caps. Yes! That makes me happy. Those things are awesome. They're so helpful. And that's the thing, is like, so many of the things that we use can be commonly used for other things. The hair wash caps can be great for preparedness too, just in case, like, for example, you don't have power. Your well goes down. You need to be able to wash your hair. You can still do that with those, because you don't have to have running water to finish it up. You just have to have a little sprinkle of water if you're using the shower cloths. So it's really, really beneficial. So a lot of the things that we have are very, like, transformative in other ways. I have a lot of people also who have looked into power stations who have no desire to be on the road whatsoever, but because they've lost power so many times, they're like, I will not go without power. Same thing with the portable fridges. Lots of people who are in power states that have issues, they have looked into backup supplies, including set power fridges. And that makes me so happy to just let people have that knowledge that, hey, you can still have stuff no matter what. Let's see. What else do we got here? Additionally, I was going to talk to you guys about some upcoming things that we have going on. A few, not anything too crazy. Of course, I'm going to still be on the road for a little while, and in doing so, I have some fun stuff that I'll be sharing. We've been doing hot girl walks every day. We have been doing some fun things. Riley got me set on something which I will not quite share fully the humor of, but you have seen shorts on her channel and mine now. We've been doing cold girl plunges. Hot girl walks, cold girl plunges. They have been fabulous. But oh my goodness, little did I know it was going to end up being the way that it has been. Just know there's some funnies coming your way. Um, Everybody always tells us that, like, whenever they watch us do whatever the weirdness is that we do, that's just us being normal, by the way, guys. That's unfortunately just us. Um, that they crack up and it gives them joy. So you're going to have some joy infused into your lives very soon in way of hot girl walks and cold girl plunges. Let's see. Let's see. What else is this? So yeah, I only fell once. Sure, Riley. Keep on telling people that. Keep on telling people that. Don't listen to Riley. She is definitely Pinocchio right now. In fact, there is a really funny situation. Again, if you guys have watched Mateo's, you've already probably seen it, but Riley and Mateo had a bet. And let me just say, I was really proud of Riley for this one. I was really sad for Teo on this one. But you have to pick a side. Like, on one side, you're like happy because like Riley did good because high five, man. Yeah. On the other side, I feel bad because Teo went down in flames on this one. And so, yeah, love you guys both, but high five Riley on that one. You'll understand a little bit more once you see the upcoming video. If you haven't watched Teo's, though, you can go watch that. I noticed that today, just a little while ago, Kali put up her version of the Red Bull soapbox. Kali's trying to get her channel together and everything like that. She's been making some channel changes, and she's been getting out and traveling more. So everybody, again, go support Kali over there, Casey's Life Adventures. And if you go over to her page and you see a man over there, that's Kyle. Kyle is also part of KC Life Adventures. It's Kali and Kyle, Kyle and Kali. K and C. That's them. A lot of people, whenever I was traveling with Kali over the summer, well, winter, no, spring. When did we travel? I don't know. Time's running together. When we went to Iowa, a lot of people were going over to her channel and they're like, "There's this lady, but she has a guy on there." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's Kyle. That's Kyle. That's the correct channel. Follow along." She has a different upload schedule than I do. She has a different upload schedule than Riley does. Riley has a different upload schedule than I do. Mateo has a different upload schedule. We all have different upload schedules that work best for us based on our travel and our safety. And so it's always interesting to see when something comes out, but also to see the perspective of each individual. And so if you're wanting to see a little bit more of the fun we had at Red Bull, go and check out Colley's. Riley, I'm still not letting you rock on that. I only fell once, though. Just saying. Just saying. I know that whenever I edited my videos, I was just like, oh, wow. Another one bites the dust. Boom, boom, boom. Another one bites the dust. That was, if I could put that in a video without getting every copy strike known to man, that would be Riley's theme song. You know, I have a theme song for every day. That would be Riley's theme song. Tripping is not the same, actually. Tripping, falling, sliding, boom, bang, bing, bang, boom. They're all of similar nature. When you're editing it, you hear it. Anybody who's ever wanted a really, really funny job, a super funny job, I would like to say that the best days of editing are the days that you're kind of stressed out and you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm tired. I don't know if I'm going to get through my day. And then you pull up a video with you and Riley, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, ah, oh, ugh. And then you're watching it, and then all of a sudden you just see her, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. It's fine, everything's fine. It's super fun. But that's why we love Riley. Riley is our clumsy friend. I always joke about that, and I'm not meaning that in like an insulting way whatsoever, because we all have weird titles. All of us. I've slidden down a mountain. I am also the clumsy friend. We have rules for these purposes, and you guys probably have heard us just randomly screaming out rule numbers. This is why. We have rules that are designed to keep us good in a lot of scenarios, but it's just kind of like an ongoing fun thing. And anybody who has seen, I think it's, is it NCIS, where they have all the rules? Same, same. Hello, hello, Penny. No, these aren't stickers. These are patches, actually. So all of the patches, let me see. I'll pull a different one down. I pulled some down a while ago. Let's see. What have I done more recently? I haven't gotten as many patches on this particular trip, but I have gotten several. Okay, I'll just pull down this one again. Um, they're just patches. So like this is one of the places that we went on this particular series that you guys will be seeing. I take Velcro and I put it on the back, and the Velcro comes in these long sheets, or you can get just like the Velcro rolls that you can cut. They have the sticky part on the back, and so I just put the sticky Velcro on the back, and then I put it on the patch, and then you can just put the patches up on the ceiling. Let me see. Let me put it in a different spot this time. And I do that with all of these. And so, for example, that was a Colorado patch, but I have been to, let's see, here's one. This was a fun one. This is when we went to Chiricahua in Arizona. That was pretty cool. This is a different kind of Velcro. You can get this kind of Velcro at Walmart, both the circles and the long lines, or you can order it on Amazon. All of my circles that I'm currently using, actually, let me scoot that over, are from Amazon, but they're from an Amazon return store. Riley and I went to this bin store in Vegas, and they had these ginormous rolls, and they were like $3. Now, on Amazon, when you look up this, it's much more than $3, but I was fortunate enough to be able to get it for $3. I bought 2 rolls, and so that's how I put them up, is I just pull some off of the roll, and then I put them on the back, and then they go up on the ceiling, and then once the ceiling gets completely filled, then I'll take them all down, and I have a base camp, so I'll put them on a patch board at my base camp in my wall of wonder, which is my area where I have all my travel stuff. Everyone needs a clumsy friend. I agree. It makes life fun. In Wisconsin, I don't think I was able to get any patches because the places that we went didn't have patches. But I do have a patch that Collie actually ordered for us from the Spam Museum. That so when I see her on our next site, because I'm not traveling with Collie now, we've already kind of parted ways. Again, I don't post in real time. I'll get that patch from her and then I'll add it to the ceiling. So it'll be super fun. Let's see. Hiya. Hi. So yeah, that's kind of what I do though. I don't collect a lot of other things. A lot of other things end up taking up space, so I just don't. A lot of people do like mugs or shirts or bumper stickers or regular stickers, and I did do regular stickers for a long time, and then I ran out of things to stick them to. So I was like, okay, even though stickers are the least expensive next to postcards, I also did postcards at one point. It just becomes really cumbersome with all these extra things. But I figured this place right here was super blank and super boring. And so I wanted to do something that would echo all the adventures that I'd been on in a really cool way. And so this was really fun. Now, patches are more expensive, but at the same time, this is the one thing that I buy for myself. So normally, if I go to an attraction of any kind, if they have a patch, I'll pick it up. It is what it is. Missouri! Woo, woo, woo. I do have some Missouri up here. I have a few Missouri. In fact, I have this one, Fire in the Hole! This is from whenever Silver Dollar City retired the old Fire in the Hole, which I had ridden since I was a kiddo, and brought in the new one. And I found a patch, so that was cool. I also have, let's see, that's Tennessee, Idaho. Let's see. I should have a couple more Missouris in here somewhere. Oh, oh, I have this guy from the National Forest, a different kind, again, of Velcro. This is the white version of it. Again, I just got all this at Walmart. So Walmart's a great resource for the Velcro. New phone, who dis? What? What up, Anthony? But yeah, the patches are so handy. Just again, because it's a souvenir that doesn't take up room in the actual van. I have 35 square feet in the back, so it can get really cumbersome. And anytime that I purchase something like as a gift or something, I have to move that around constantly. But these can just stay there, and then I just kind of each day before I go anywhere, it's part of my routine, just press them up just to make sure that the heat didn't make them wilt. And then again, whenever I'm finished with filling it up, I can either leave them up there and it'd be really cool, like a patchwork quilt, or I can take them all down, put them on a patchboard, and start all over. And that's kind of half of the fun. It's like when you're collecting stuff and you have this sense of fulfillment, like I did that. And then you're like, okay, it's time to start again. And it's like really neat to take each one down and see and go over that memory and kind of like you have that memory that pops up as like, oh, I remember this. This was super cool. So it's kind of like this really cathartic moment when you do that. Gotta find a way to put all of Patch's Velcro thing might work for you. It's super, super good. If you'd like, Anthony, I have some extra Velcro. You can try it out to see if you like it. And if you do, then you can buy Velcro. But don't buy Velcro. I've got plenty. I'll see you soon. National Pork Patch.